Part 3. Eli uses the portal to gather knowledge but begins to forget pieces of his life. Eli couldn't shake the weight of the secret society's words. The more you use the portal, the more you lose. Every step he took felt like a battle, not just against the world around him, but against himself. The more he thought about the portal, the more it seemed like it was controlling him, not the other way around. And yet, he knew he had no choice. The key of time was out there, and it was the only way to escape this endless cycle. So, Eli made a decision. He would use the portal, not to escape just yet, but to learn. He needed to gather as much knowledge as he could about the world, the portal, and the key that might help him break the curse. He stood before the shimmering portal once more. The air around it crackled with energy, and he could almost feel the weight of the memories it had stolen from others, memories that had been lost in this very space. With a deep breath, Eli stepped through. The world he entered this time was different, familiar, yet somehow alien. The sky was vast and purple, with swirling clouds that seemed to have no direction. The ground beneath his feet was smooth and shiny, as if it were made of glass. Strange, glowing plants dotted the landscape, their light flickering like stars. He looked around, trying to make sense of it all. Every step he took was like entering a new dream. The space seemed endless, stretching far into the horizon. And yet, there was something unsettling about it. Something that whispered to him, reminding him of the cost of staying too long. Focus, Eli thought. Just gather knowledge. That's all. And so, Eli moved forward, his mind fixed on the task ahead. He encountered many strange things in this world. Ancient texts filled with cryptic symbols that he couldn't decipher, forgotten creatures who seemed to know things about the portal, and even glimpses of past travelers who had once stepped through, lost souls, forever wandering this space in search of answers that would never come. But as he spent more time in this world, Eli began to feel a strange sensation, a growing emptiness. At first, it was subtle, a small memory, slipping through his fingers like sand. The name of a friend he used to know. The sound of laughter he hadn't heard in years. A childhood song that once brought him comfort, now gone from his mind. Eli shook his head. It was nothing. He was just distracted. He couldn't let his guard down. But the emptiness, it grew. He began to forget things. Things he shouldn't forget. One day, as he wandered through the glowing forest, he caught a glimpse of something that made his heart race. A painting on the wall of a cave. It was a scene from his childhood, but distorted. He saw his younger self, playing with a toy boat by a river. But as he stepped closer to examine the image, his mind began to spin. The face in the painting wasn't his. It was as if the memory had been erased. Confused and unsettled, Eli turned away from the cave. But he felt it, the void in his mind, like something was missing. He had seen that painting before, but now it felt like it was a part of someone else's life, not his own. Eli's heart sank. He touched his head, as if trying to pull the lost memory back. But it was gone. He stumbled out of the cave, his thoughts scattered, his resolve starting to falter. Was the portal already taking him? No. He couldn't stop now. The knowledge was too important. He had to keep moving forward. But every time he stepped through the portal again, he felt it. The pull. The loss. It wasn't just the memories. It was pieces of himself. Eli was starting to fade, little by little. As he moved deeper into the strange land, he saw more figures, other portal travelers, just like the ones from the secret society. Their faces were blank, their eyes lost. They had all used the portal too much. And now they were barely human. Their bodies had become hollow, their minds lost to the passage of time. Eli walked past them, feeling the weight of his own decisions. Would he end up like them? He tried to shake off the thoughts, but they lingered. It wasn't until he came across a tower, ancient and crumbling, that he realized how much time had passed. How many hours? Days? Or maybe weeks? In this world, time didn't matter, but it had been too long. Eli felt it in his bones. In the center of the tower stood a crystal, glowing with the same eerie light as the portal. He approached it cautiously, but the closer he got, the more his head pounded. His vision blurred. He reached out to touch the crystal, and for a moment, his hand hesitated. He felt a sudden rush of memories flood his mind. Moments he had forgotten. His childhood home. The face of his mother. His first kiss. All slipping away. But as the images came, they faded just as quickly. And in their place, a deep sense of loss settled in his chest. He staggered back from the crystal, his breath shallow, his heart racing. The cost was too high. His mind was starting to slip away, piece by piece. No, Eli. Focus. You can't forget. Not yet. But the more he tried to hold on to the past, the more it slipped through his fingers. Eli stumbled out of the tower and back into the portal. His thoughts were foggy. His memories felt like they were trapped behind a glass wall, just out of reach. As he stepped back into the world he had once known, he saw it. A glimpse of his reflection in a pool of water. He didn't recognize the face staring back at him. It was his face, yes. But the eyes, they were different. Empty. Lost. And for the first time since he had entered the portal, Eli realized the truth. The portal wasn't just changing the world around him. It was changing him. To be continued.